When you look at the world today, do you feel that everything is just meaningless chaos, or can you perceive the invisible threads that govern every encounter and every loss? In this video, we will dive into the symphony of creation to understand how our spirituality and personal development are deeply tied to natural laws. We will discover that true greatness does not lie in controlling the world, but in mastering oneself through spiritual awakening. Often, we feel like helpless spectators in the theater of life, which plunges us into a sense of hopelessness. But is it really so? There is a profound connection between cause and effect that we frequently ignore. Carl Jung taught us that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives and we will call it fate. By ignoring the natural laws that govern our existence, we live in confusion, trying to bend the universe to our will. But the invitation here is different, to harmonize with the symphony of creation. In this space of presence and inner silence, we begin to recognize that our pains are not random accidents, but results shaped by choices in relation to universal principles. We live in a world of haste, where we lose our sense of direction and purpose. However, the structure of reality is woven with threads of personal integrity that we often let dissipate in the background of our search for individual gain. As the Stoics taught, there are things within our control and others that are not. Our spiritual truth resides in nurturing our inner identity instead of getting lost in material achievements. When we align our actions with the eternal principles of the cosmos, we transform chaos into order. Understand that the order you seek in the external world is merely a reflection of the harmony you cultivate within your own spirit. For Jung, this alignment is the process of individuation, the moment when you stop fighting against the tides of life and start navigating with them. When you organize your inner temple, the universe responds not with ease, but with clarity. Civilization only prospers when the individual assumes the ethical commitment to be the light that illuminates their own path, becoming a point of order amidst the tumult of existence. But, as we decide to establish this inner order, we inevitably run into a silent gatekeeper who guards the deepest passages of our being: fear. You cannot organize the house without first illuminating the basements where we hide our uncertainties. Fear is a formidable specter that haunts hearts, emerging from the shadows of the unknown. But, through the lens of Jungian wisdom, fear is often a projection of parts of ourselves that we do not dare to look at. It is a mirage created by a misinterpretation of reality. As we journey inward through the mirror of self-reflection, we find the key to breaking the chains that bind us. Spiritual awakening requires us to take responsibility for our mistakes, stopping the projection of blame onto the external. Diving into one's own shadow is the supreme act of courage. The Stoics remind us that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. By facing what you fear most in yourself, you strip the power from the mirage and reclaim the energy that was imprisoned in internal conflict. This encounter is not for punishment, but for integration. When you embrace your totality, light and darkness, fear dissolves, giving way to a force of unwavering understanding. It is the alchemy of the soul, converting the lead of negativity into the gold of wisdom and self-love. Once the shadow is integrated and fear ceases to be a master to become an advisor, we understand that this alchemy is not a single event, but the very rhythm of the journey. We then enter into the perception that life is not a destination to be reached, but an eternal succession of learning cycles. Existence is not a fleeting moment, but an eternal journey of growth and learning. Many seek solace in the idea of an afterlife to escape current burdens, but true inner transformation happens when we embrace responsibility for our choices now. Every action of ours leaves an indelible mark on the essence of reality. Epictetus would remind us that it is not facts that disturb us, but the way we interpret them. Shaping our destiny requires the crucible of conscious choices and a meaning of life that transcends the ego. This growth is not linear. It is a spiral that takes us closer and closer to the center of our being. Every challenge the world presents is, in fact, a lesson tailored for your evolution. By accepting that life is a constant school, you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What did this come to teach me?" This shift in perspective is what Jung called the awakening of consciousness. It is the commitment to not just be a fragment of dust in the wind, but an active collaborator in the creation of your own destiny. However, for this new destiny to manifest, the collaborator needs a clean instrument. Just as a musician cares for their instrument so that the melody is pure, our evolution requires us to look at the vessel of this consciousness, our own internal vase, which is often saturated by noise that does not belong to us. Imagine a journey of purification that goes beyond physical cleansing, diving into the core of our essence. Ancient sages recognized the importance of discipline in cultivating inner harmony. Our mission is to climb the staircase of virtue, refining our body and mind so that they resonate with the rhythms of creation. Like a vessel that is only useful for its empty space, we need to purify our soul from excesses and false needs. This process of emotional healing brings us closer to the core of our existence. Purification is not about becoming perfect, but about becoming clean from influences that do not belong to your original essence. In the silence of contemplation, you begin to discern between what is societal noise and what is the whisper of your soul. By emptying the vessel of your limiting beliefs and superfluous desires, you open space for divine wisdom to fill you. It is a work of constant pruning, removing what is dead or false so that authentic life can flourish with vigor and purity. It is from this sacred emptying, this necessary pruning, that the strength for the final step of our ascent springs. For he who has cleansed his vessel and understood his lessons discovers that the greatest sovereignty is not exercised over the world outside, but over the vast and unexplored territory that exists between his own thoughts. True greatness is not revealed in the conquest of territories or control over others, pursuits that, throughout history, have proven to be unsuccessful. Greatness resides in self-mastery. The laws of nature are unshakable and do not bend to the whims of mortals. Serving this truth and aligning oneself with divine laws is the only path that leads to tranquility and joy. We live in an intricate web woven by the hands of fate, where authenticity must reign supreme. Remember Seneca's maxim, "Fate guides those who accept it and drags those who resist it." Self-mastery is not repression, but the sovereignty of reason and spirit over momentary impulses. When you conquer yourself, the world ceases to be a battlefield and becomes a garden of possibilities. Being true to yourself, even when the world demands masks, is the most sacred act of rebellion there is. It is in this inner firmness that you find the peace that surpasses all understanding and fulfill your true earthly mission. In this comprehensive panorama of life, every thread of our story possesses an inherent goodness that contributes to the harmony of the whole. The future of the world rests on the shoulders of those who dare to align their actions with the eternal principles that guide the cosmos. We are not just dust in the wind, but conscious weavers of a vaster reality. At this moment, I invite you to a brief contemplation. Feel your breath as the breath that connects your inner self to the vastness of the universe. Visualize a small light in the center of your chest. It represents your soul, unperturbed by chaos. As you breathe, imagine this light expanding and dissolving the bonds of fear and doubt. Silently say to yourself, "I choose truth, I choose self-mastery, I choose to awaken." If these words touch the core of your being, perhaps it is the call to a new level in your personal development. Subscribe to our channel and activate the bell of wisdom so you don't miss any step of this journey of awakening consciousness. Share below which of these laws resonated most with your current moment. Your reflection could be the beacon for another soul in search. If you seek a safe harbor, know that our community is the sanctuary where fertile silence is shared and deepened. Enjoy the other content on the channel to keep your mind in fertile ground. And to continue your expansion, Watch the video we prepared which is in the card. May your walk be guided by the light of consciousness. Peace and light.